Welcome, welcome. I am the loud little ducky. Well, Gringas is at it again. As soon as I put and get the video up of all the blog posts, he starts running his mouth again. So let's jump into this real quick. It's not going to be a very long one. Let's talk about lies, part 1, posted April 19th, 2024 by David Gringas. Happy Friday to all. If you're reading this page, you know the Justice for Clayton crew and their narrative. It goes like this. Laura must be lying about Clayton because of the following points. Clayton says they never had sex. Laura says they did. Number 2, Clayton says Laura has no medical records to back up her story. That one is confirmed 100% lie. There are tons of medical records to document Laura's story. But that's a post for another day. I love how he just keeps saying, oh, there's pictures, there's proof, there's medical records. My chair is acting up. But yet he doesn't provide them to anybody. He doesn't even provide them to Clayton and Woodnick. But he just keeps saying, they're there. Except for the dates don't match. Number 3, Clayton says Laura has done this to other men. This will be the subject of a future post coming very shortly. Oh, joy. He has something to say about all the other men. Number 4, Clayton says Laura faked a sonogram in this case and also in the past. Again, we will be talking about the real facts soon. Are they what your client told you, or do you have proof to back it up? Number 5, Laura wore a fake moon bump in court. She did. We saw with our own eyes. Laura had a blood test on October 16, 2023 that showed HCG levels of 102, whereas in a normal pregnancy at the same stage, the levels should have been in the range between 14 to 53,000 or even higher if twins. Number 7, Laura claimed to have a miscarriage, but never produced any proof, such as a fetal death certificate. So those are his points right now. Now, I know what the Justice for Clayton haters will say. Gringas, you big ugly idiot. You said you were going to try this case and you weren't going to try this case in public. You are now contradicting yourself with all these posts. This shows you're a big fat liar. Insert crying emoji. Look, I don't want to talk about the case. And no, I am making no money from social media, or blog posts, unlike the Justice for Clayton crowd. I don't make money from Google AdSense, they do, which is why the word vomit keeps flowing from their side. I am literally not changing Laura. I'm not charging Laura even $1 for any of this PR effort. And trust me, at some future point, Laura is going to seek to recover all her legal fees from Clayton and others. And when that happens, Laura will have to disclose all her legal bills, including mine. When that day comes, I'll bet you $1 million you won't see a single charge for blogging or tweeting, because that would be unethical. This is not a part of what people hire a lawyer for. If she hired you as a PR person, yeah, we would doubt you that you were making money off of this. But nobody thinks you're charging Laura for blogging. And if they do, that's dumb. So while I wish this wasn't the case, Clayton's army can't stop talking about Laura. Again, they're doing it for one reason, to make money from views and clicks. And based on what I've seen, they're spreading lie after lie after lie. In that situation, it would be malpractice for me to sit back and ignore those lies. That's why I feel compelled to say something in response. That's why I'm here. It's not malpractice for you to focus on the case and improve your case in court, and you don't have to address the public. Because if everything that you have been saying is true, you don't need to come out here and write blogs about it. Just prove it in court. And then we will all see for ourselves. Easy and simple. Rather than pushing back with every detail of Laura's side of the story, I'm going to take a measured approach. Let's not try to debunk every detail of Clayton's narrative in a single shot. Let's just take this one step at a time. For today's lesson, I'm going to start with one of the easiest and most offensive lies, the moon bump thing. This has been mentioned a lot, but the first time I saw it was in a pleading filed by Clayton's lawyer, Greg Woodnick, on March 11, 2024. This was Clayton's motion to compel. You've seen it, but let's refresh what Greg told the court. On October 24th, petitioner appeared on video in a court proceeding before Judge G, wearing what appeared to be a fake pregnant stomach moon belly. Have you gone and watched that motion to compel hearing? Because if you have, you need to have your client explain why her belly moves. When I first heard this claim, I have to be honest, I really worried. It really worried me. That is some seriously crazy shit to say to someone, about someone. This lady, who I am supposed to be defending, showed up in court wearing a fake pregnant stomach? The conclusion is obvious. If Laura actually did that, she must be a stark, raving lunatic. Totally insane. And that's exactly the purpose of this lie. To make you think Laura is crazy. Because you need to believe Laura is crazy if you want Clayton to get justice. No, not exactly. Not exactly at all. Because all she has to do is come clean. She didn't need to do all this fake stuff for Clayton to get justice. She just had to fess up. But she went on and on with this crazy story. She made this into the crazy that it is. So she is crazy? Well, that's the ultimate question you will have to decide for yourself once you hear all the facts and all the evidence. But let's just talk about the moon bump, since that seems to be one of Justice for Clayton's critical pieces of evidence. After all, a licensed attorney, Greg Woodnick, made a written representation to the court that this did happen, and there are rules that say a lawyer is not allowed to lie in court. And if you say something to the judge, there's a separate Rule 26 that says you are making certification to the court you conducted a reasonable investigation into the facts before you made the statement, and you are further certifying that your investigation produced evidence to support what you said. Yep, he didn't have to go too far. All he had to do was watch the video from the hearing in October. That it was very obvious to everybody. We saw it with our own eyes. Like, nobody told us this stuff. We didn't have to believe anything. But Laura wants to say, believe me. Believe what I'm telling you. Don't believe your eyes. Okay, so did Woodnick tell the truth about the moon bump? Or did he make it up to support his client's narrative? No, I don't think he made it up. Because if he said that, and then we went back and watched the video, if we didn't think that what he was saying was the truth, we wouldn't be backing Greg up. But because we saw it with our own eyes, we figured that out for ourselves. Oh my God, we have a brain of our own. We don't actually have to be told what to say and what to believe. You can make your own opinions. Wow, that's so cool, guys. I have no direct proof as to what Greg knew or didn't at the time, and I don't know what investigation he performed to support this claim. This is a question he will need to answer later, but let me explain the facts as I understand them. First, here's a detailed affidavit from Laura, swearing under penalty of perjury that she did not wear a moon bump or any other form of prosthetic at a court hearing on October 24th at 2023. If you hate Laura and think she's a bad person, she just doubled down on this by putting her denial in writing under oath. If you can prove she's lying, she risks 5 years in prison. Let's look at her Amazon history, her shopping history, credit card history. Let's go back and review the motion to compel hearing. Yep, there's the proof. Done. And if you think for 1 minute that we are going to believe an affidavit that Laura herself wrote, we're not. Because this woman has been lying in court for 10 years. 10 years. We don't believe a shit thing she says. Nah, nada. Like, we could be in the middle of a fire and she say, "Oh, this is on fire," and I wouldn't believe her. I'd be like, "No, this is hieroglyphics." Alrighty. Second, if you don't want to bother reading her affidavit, I'll give you the highlights. Laura is 5'5" tall, and she currently weighs 91 pounds. I don't know about you, but to me, that's pretty freaking skinny. For comparison's sake, take a photo. Look at these photos. The top one is an older one. The lower one is from April 2024. Not exactly a heaviest set person. You would agree? Sure. Sure. No, Laura's not a heavy person. That's why, like, let's say she is pregnant in that April 24th hearing. She was in that hearing, if it was real and not fake, just for this scenario, she is what we would call all baby, which means that the rest of her body, if you didn't see her belly, you would never know she's pregnant. From the back, you wouldn't be able to tell. That's why when she takes the belly off, that she's skinny and she looks the same. Like, it's like, no, nobody ever said she was heavy, but nobody said she's pregnant either, except for Laura. So here are the photos of Owens. He says the one with the horse is older, and this here standing was this month. I don't know. It could have been. She looks very young in this picture, though. But she's wearing a realtor type shirt. But she looks very, very young in this picture. So I don't know, guys. Like, she's skinny. She's not fat. Nobody ever said she was fat. Nobody claimed she looked like she was fat or looked like she was pregnant because she was fat. Nothing. None of that was claimed. Okay. Here is Owens' affidavit. Number 1, my name is Laura Owens. If I called to testify in court, I could and would testify to the following under penalty of perjury based on my own personal knowledge. Number 2, I am 33 years old. My date of birth is May 14th, 1990. I'm not married and I do not have any children. I am 5'5" and weigh around 91 pounds. I'm aware that I have been accused of wearing a fake moon bump or moon belly at a court appearance in Arizona on October 24, 2023. This allegation is totally and completely false. On May 20th, 2023, I had a sexual encounter with a man named Clayton Echard. I have already spoken about this at length in a sworn deposition taken on March 1st, 2024. As I explained in that deposition, Mr. Echard and I were involved in various sexual activities, including oral sex, which occurred with my consent. At the same time, okay, remember she says with my consent. That's good to know, because there was an R allegation at one point, which that's coming. If David Gringas would learn to shut his pie hole, I could get that video done. At the same time, Mr. Echard also inserted his P into my V without consent. She did oral with consent. At the same time, Mr. Echard also inserted his P into my V without my consent, after I told him that I did not want to have sex with him. Okay. After the events of May 20th, 2023, I believed that I became pregnant with Mr. Echard's child. I was not sexually active with anyone else around this time period, so if I became pregnant, the only person who could be the father was Mr. Echard. Number 6, on May 31st, 2023, I took a home pregnancy test which showed a faint positive result. To this, I went to a local Banner Urgency Care facility the next day on June 1st, 2023, and told them that I might be pregnant and I needed to confirm this. The nurse gave me a test and then informed me the test results came back positive for pregnancy. I later told Mr. Echard I was pregnant and he immediately became hostile and angry. He denied that he could be the father. On June 19th, 2023, I went to Mr. Echard's home to discuss the situation with him. I brought the positive pregnancy test results to show him, but he refused to believe me. At the time, he gave me a home pregnancy test that he purchased and demanded that I take the test in front of him, which I did. That test also showed positive results. Positive HCG test on your pee. Okay. So, yep, here's the R allegations. It's absolutely ridiculous. Also, like, when you were getting your protective order from him, why didn't this ever come up? Like, why didn't you say this then? Now all of a sudden you're saying it. After almost a year, you're bringing up these allegations. On July 23rd, 2023, I had some bleeding and passed some tissue, which made me worry that I might have miscarried. I sent photos of the tissue to a healthcare provider who said it was not clear whether a miscarriage had occurred. A few days later, around July 25th, I took another pregnancy test to try to determine if I was still pregnant. The test was positive. Okay. On August 1st, before I filed my paternity case against Mr. Echard, I took another pregnancy test. This test was again positive. I don't care about your multiple pregnancy tests. I don't care about your multiple pee sticks. Nobody gives a shit about your pee. Between August 1st and early October 2023, I experienced weight gain, especially in my abdomen, as shown in the photos below, taken on September 19th, 2023 and October 9th, 2023. Okay. Like, that shows that. And these are photos. You said you took photos, not a video. So why are these in video format? Like, maybe you were pregnant at some point in your life. I don't know. But that 10/9/23 photo that you have labeled there, that's not what you look like in court. Like 2 weeks later. And I'm sorry, 133 pounds for someone that's pregnant with twins that far along, you're not going to weigh 133 pounds. Sorry. I don't care how fit and healthy you are. It ain't happening. When I appeared in court on October 24th, 2023, I was not wearing a fake moon belly, nor did I do anything of any kind to alter my physical appearance. In fact, I had a blood pregnancy test taken shortly before the hearing on October 16th, 2023, and that blood test confirmed again I was still testing positive for pregnancy. Okay, where are your ultrasounds then? The blood test says HCG. I still haven't really seen this. And your HCG markers. Like, something is going on here. Something is still fishy. I don't understand why these photos are in video format and they're labeled like that. It's very weird to me. I want to know the metadata and how they got into this format. Blood test, we know that those numbers didn't add up. And all she talks about is testing, testing, testing. She doesn't ever talk about any ultrasounds because You know, when you go this far into a pregnancy, you've never had a single ultrasound ever, right? On November 14th, 2023, I went to seek care from a gynecologist facility called MomDoc. After I started bleeding, okay, so you're bleeding now in November? Okay, but you said you had a miscarriage at another point. And like August or September and July, you're 133 pounds, but you still have HCG, you still have a growing belly with no babies, still have no ultrasounds. Like, the story is still not lining up. And why do you doctor hop? That's so weird. Well, you're not doctor hopping because you never went to those other doctors, but okay. But in November, she says that she went to the doctor on November 14th at 5:10 p.m. And it says, history of pre-existing illness, possible pregnancy. Patient states, so Laura said she had positive HPT in June and then had pregnancy confirmed by Planned Parenthood. Still yet to see the actual documentation on that. She had an initial US ultrasound there, which showed a twin pregnancy. She did not have subsequent care. Why? There would be no reason that this woman would not do subsequent care during her pregnancy. That she would have just acted like she was poor and couldn't go see doctors. I don't buy it. Because in that part, she was neglectful. And she purposely killed the babies, which she wouldn't do. Because she wants to become a mom and be attached to a dude for the remainder of eternity. But she started bleeding a few weeks after the ultrasound. Okay. Patient reports she passed 2 sacs, which appeared to have a membrane, but denies having much bleeding outside of that. She was worried that that could mean, and continued to take home pregnancy tests to assess if she was still pregnant. She ordered her own HCG through Labs Now type place, which showed a very low HCG level. She was told this was not consistent with a viable pregnancy. Okay. It was not consistent with a viable pregnancy. So that blood test that Gringas showed us said it wasn't a viable pregnancy. There was nothing there. She reports she had bleeding last week, that it was like a period that lasted 2 days. She comes to MomDoc to find out if she is still pregnant. Pregnancy was unplanned. Okay, so all this tells me is what Laura said. This tells me nothing else. Laura's report. This does not tell me what the doctor thinks, or this doctor. Well, let's move on to the last page of this affidavit. I was given 2 pregnancy tests at MomDoc, and both results showed negative. This is when I learned I was no longer pregnant. When I went to my appointment at MomDoc, the nurse had me get on the scale and recorded my weight. At the time, I weighed 133 pounds, as shown in the excerpt from my medical records below. It's amazing that you went from that to that, 133 pounds. It's just, I just don't. I weighed myself on a scale at home a few days ago, and the scale showed 91.9 pounds, meaning I have lost over 40 pounds since the moon bump court appearance less than 6 months ago. So you say. I did not lie about being pregnant with Clayton's child/children. From the first time I first tested pregnant on May 31st, 2023, until the time Mom Doc told me I was no longer pregnant on November 14th, 2023. I took numerous pregnancy tests, more than half a dozen, including home tests, lab tests, urine tests, and blood tests. All those tests, every single one, showed positive pregnancy result. Where is your positive baby showing ultrasound? I did not take any drugs, hormones, vitamins, or do anything else to tamper with the HCG test or my HCG levels. Nobody believes you're lying about your HCG levels on the blood test, because those coincide with not pregnant. 19. Based on every fact known to me, I believe that I was pregnant with Mr. Echard's twins, which unfortunately ended with a miscarriage or other unknown cause in or around mid-November 2023. Pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that their foregoing is true and correct. Signed on April 19th, 2024. So there's her affidavit. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so Laura is Skinny, like rail skinny. And October 24, 2023, the infamous moon bump court hearing, she appeared to be much, much heavier. So was so much bigger. She was so much bigger, it was shocking. That's what caused some people to claim she's got to be wearing a fake moon belly. No! Nobody was like, oh my God, she's fat, so she has to be wearing a moon bump. That has nothing to do. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that because I didn't pay attention to that, because I kept paying attention because she kept moving her dang belly and adjusting it. Nobody could even focus on her face for half the time. One, because half the time her face wasn't even in the picture. Because she wanted to make sure that that belly was on there. Look at me rub my belly for 2 hours. Like, nobody does that. I guess what these folks were really thinking, Jesus, Clayton has said she was never pregnant. And here she is on camera looking pretty darn pregnant. I can't even speak. How can I explain that? Oh, I know. She's got to be wearing a fake moon bump. No, Gringas, like, you don't understand what's going on in anybody's brains. I don't think you're actually listening to what people think. You are just assuming, but you're not actually comprehending what's going on here. Like, is your brain that tiny? Like, why do you think this is where we got this? Oh, she looked pregnant, so it must be fake. No. Not at all. Somehow, sadly, that pure speculation has muted into the fact that she was wearing a fake moon bump. But it's not. It's nothing but pure, absolute speculation. Rather than speculating, let's pause, take a breath, and go back to the facts. On November 14, 2023, just 3 weeks after the moon bump hearing, Laura went to an OBGYN facility called Mom Doc. If you have ever been to the doctor's office, you know how this works. When it's your turn, the nurse will call you back, and the first thing that happens is you jump on the scale so they can take down your weight. Guess what? Laura's weight was, on November 14th, it's right here in the records, which Clayton's lawyer has, so you can read the number for yourself. 133 pounds. Okay. I don't see a date on this part that you're showing, but if you say it's from the 14th, okay. I will have to take your word at that, I guess. But I don't see a date on this. Now, is that a big deal? Go back and look at 2 photos of Laura above, and remember, Laura weighed herself a couple of days ago, and the scale said 91.9 pounds. Again, don't take my word for it. Here's the photo Laura sent me, and yes, I am writing and posting all of this with her express written permission. Okay. 91.9 pounds for a 5'5" person, that's sickly. That's not good. Like, that's not healthy at all. Like, I'm 5'5", and I'm not even supposed to weigh 100 pounds. So, skin and bones. Skin and bones. 133 sounds about right for someone of her height. Like, 133 is really not big. It's actually very skinny for somebody that's 5'5". That is a difference of more than 40 pounds. Now go back and look at Laura's normal figure in the photos above and try to imagine adding 40 pounds to that skinny frame. Are you telling me that if you added more than 40 pounds to Laura's body, as we know she weighed 133 pounds just 3 weeks after the moon bump hearing, are you telling me you honestly believe that she needs to wear a fake pregnant belly into court and try to fool people into thinking she's pregnant? If you can tell this sort of thing is why, if you can't tell, this is the sort of thing is why I believe when this case is over, Laura should absolutely haul every single member of Justice for Clayton crew into court, put them in front of a jury, and ask them to explain themselves. Laura is either completely insane or she's an innocent victim of one of the worst intentionally coordinated malicious defamation campaigns I've ever seen. This is not coordinated. It's not planned. I don't think it's intentional. Like, we're just going off of what we see and what we're reading in the court documents. Like, that's all. And we put the court documents out there for people to read and look at themselves. We've put the videos there for people to look at them themselves and form their own opinion as to what they think is happening. It's not just believe what we say. It's here, look at it yourself. What do you think? Do you think that the people that believe she's lying, is there something that you can say that can make us think, oh, that is true, that makes me think? Because right now there hasn't been any of that. But we know we haven't seen everything, but we've seen a good chunk. This is not innocent mistakes. These are people who are spreading knowing, intentional lies simply to destroy the life of an innocent girl. No, we are not intentionally lying. We are going by what we see with our eyes. Like, I'm not believing what Vices says or that Umbrella Guy or Megan Fox or any of them. I am going by what I'm reading and the things that I've seen with my own eyes. That includes your BS. Like, I can debunk and destroy all of your arguments so far. But hey, I'm just #TrampStampLawyer, so what the heck do I know? Have a nice weekend, y'all. And then here's the picture of her on a scale, 91.9 pounds. I would like the metadata on that photo. I want to know when that photo was taken. And that is surely not the scale at the doctor's office, because that's usually not the type of scale that they use, but maybe they do at Mom Doc. What do I know? I haven't been there. So there it is, his latest blog post. And our quote of the day is, manipulative people do not understand the concept of boundaries. They are relentless in their pursuit of what they want, and they have no regard for who gets hurt along the way. They like manipulating the truth. And if you get in the way of what they want, they will hurt you. They will hurt everybody. Because they have a story to maintain, or they have wants and things that they want and they're going to get no matter what. So watch out for these people. But it seems kind of funny that we have a manipulative lawyer representing a manipulative client. 2 peas in a pod. Okay, that is it for me today. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Hit that like button on your way out, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on so you get updated for every video coming out soon. Bye!